Every year in the UK, over 180,000 people are reported missing. Most come back, some never do, and a small, disturbing number, they come back wrong. They look the same. They sound the same. But something behind the eyes has changed. Something that left came back, wearing their face. This is the story of what was found inside Ravensfield Estate, and why no one who entered that house a second time ever spoke about what they saw inside. The sky over North Yorkshire hangs low and bruised, the colour of a days-old wound. A gravel road stretches between two rows of dead elm trees, their stripped branches reaching inward like fingers lacing together overhead. At the end of the road sits Ravensfield Estate, 3 stories of Victorian stonework, its windows dark, its chimneys cold. A single car idles at the gate. Thomas Gray, 38, sits behind the wheel. He's lean, quiet-faced, with a kind of stillness that comes not from calm but from habit. A camera bag occupies the passenger seat. A manila folder rests on the dashboard. Heritage, Demolition Survey. It reads, Photography Commission. Thomas steps out. The gate creaks open at his push. The sound travels too far in the silence. He looks up at the house. The house looks back. Dust moves through the air in long, slow spirals. The wallpaper, once dark burgundy, has peeled away from the upper corners of every wall, curling downward like dead skin. A grand staircase rises to the upper floors, its banister wrapped in a decade of cobwebs. Thomas sets his bag down and raises his camera. He is methodical, professional. He photographs the entrance hall in sections: left wall, right wall, ceiling, floor, staircase. He checks the LCD screen on the back of his camera. He frowns, lowers the camera, raises it again. In the photograph of the staircase, far back, on the landing above, half swallowed by shadow, there is a shape. Tall, still, a figure. Thomas looks up at the landing, empty. He tells himself it is a trick of the exposure, the aperture too wide. A smear of shadow catching the shape of something ordinary, a coat stand, a wardrobe, half open. He moves on, he photographs the next room. Thomas has set up a portable lamp in the corner. Its pale yellow light throws long shadows across the floor. He works through the drawing room, a fireplace filled with collapsed ash, an overturned chair, shelves of books swollen shut with damp. He photographs everything. Then he sits on the dusty floor and reviews the images on his camera screen, scrolling back through the last 40 shots. He stops. In the photograph of the fireplace, far back, in the corner of the room behind him, the figure is there again, tall, upright, perfectly still, and closer than before. Thomas's jaw tightens. He stands and turns. The corner of the room is empty. He walks to it slowly, runs his hand along the wallpaper. Cold plaster. Nothing. He turns back and looks at the camera screen. The figure stands 2 feet behind where Thomas now stands. Thomas does not move for a long moment, then, very deliberately, he photographs the corner directly in front of him. He checks the screen. Empty. He turns and photographs the room behind him. He checks the screen. The figure is there, same position, different wall, as if it simply moved, as if it is always exactly behind him. Thomas finds the study by accident, pushing open a door he had not noticed, set flush with the wall, papered over on both sides, its hinges hidden. Inside, a narrow room, a desk, a single chair, filing cabinets rusted shut, except one. Thomas opens the cabinet. Inside, yellowed newspaper clippings, photographs, handwritten notes in cramped, desperate lettering. He spreads them across the desk, under his lamp. The clippings are dated September 1987, October 1987, November 1987. Child missing from Ravensfield Estate. Thomas Gray, age 8, last seen in the grounds of his family home. Police search ongoing. Thomas sets the clipping down very carefully. He picks up the photographs. They are black and white, old. Taken inside this house 38 years ago. The entrance hall, the drawing room, the staircase, and in every single photograph, far back, in the corner, in the shadows, the same tall, featureless shape, standing, watching. Thomas's breathing changes. He turns over the last photograph. On the back, in faded pencil, someone has written 4 words. It comes with him. Thomas pulls more clippings from the cabinet. His hands are not steady now. He finds a police report, handwritten, carbon copied, the ink faint but legible. Thomas Gray remains unaccounted for. No body recovered from estate or grounds. Father, Harold Gray, states the boy was not taken. He was replaced. Mr. Gray has since been committed to psychiatric care. Case remains open. Thomas sits back in the chair. He was born in 1987. His name is Thomas Gray. He was hired for this commission 3 weeks ago by a firm he has never visited in person. Correspondence only. Email. A name he cannot now clearly remember. He opens his phone, searches his emails for the commission details. The inbox is empty, not deleted, simply empty, as if the messages never existed. His phone signal reads 0 bars. Thomas stands. He's going to leave. He's going to walk out of this house right now and drive until he finds a road he recognizes, a town with lights, people, noise. He picks up his camera. He looks at the screen. In the last photograph, the one he took of the study when he first entered, the figure stands directly behind the chair where Thomas has just been sitting. Its head is tilted. For the first time, Thomas can see the shape of its face clearly in the image. There is no face, only smooth, pale, featureless skin, stretched tight where the eyes and nose and mouth should be. Thomas lowers the camera. He catches his reflection in the dark window glass across the room. He stares. He raises one hand slowly. His reflection does not move. Thomas runs. His footsteps crack across the floor of the entrance hall. He grabs his bag. He hits the front door with both palms. It opens. Cold air rushes in. The gravel drive stretches ahead. His car sits at the end of it, gate open beyond. He runs to the car, pulls the door, gets in. He does not look in the rearview mirror. He drives. 2 miles from Ravensfield, Thomas's car coasts to a stop on a dark country road. The fuel gauge reads full. The engine simply dies. Thomas sits in the silence. He pulls out his camera one final time. He does not know why. It is instinct, habit. He turns it around, points the lens at himself. He presses the shutter. He looks at the LCD screen. In the photograph, the car seat, the dark windscreen, the steering wheel. Thomas Gray is not in the photograph. There is no one in the driver's seat. But in the back seat, reflected in the rearview mirror, the tall, featureless figure sits perfectly still, its smooth, pale face tilted forward, and it is wearing Thomas's jacket, and it is holding Thomas's camera. And for the first time since Thomas entered Ravensfield Estate, it is not standing behind someone. It is alone in the car. The engine starts. The car pulls back onto the road and drives back toward the estate. The commission file for Ravensfield Estate was closed in November of that year. The photography survey was deemed incomplete. No images were recovered from the camera card. It had been wiped. Thomas Gray's car was found 2 weeks later, parked neatly outside the estate gates. The keys were in the ignition. His camera bag was in the passenger seat. His phone was on the dashboard. The case of Thomas Gray, the man, was filed as a missing persons report. It joined another file, an older one, case number September 14th, 1987. Also named Thomas Gray, also vanished from Ravensfield Estate, also never found. The estate was demolished the following spring. The workers reported nothing unusual, except one of them, a quiet man who had not been on the original crew list, who showed up on the first morning and worked in silence all week. Nobody remembered hiring him. Nobody remembered his face